Thinking about calling the DC metro area home? It's an exciting area full of culture, history, and job opportunities. But it's not all cherry blossoms and monuments. There are some serious things to consider before calling this area home. Stay tuned, because today I'm talking about the 7 worst things about living in the DC metro area. And trust me, you're gonna wanna hear item number 5. For those of you who've seen our videos before, you already know I am a longtime resident of this area. I have been here 26 years. I've worked in corporate, various jobs in tech, branding, marketing, startups, you name it, I've worked it. Before I decided to start my own real estate business, I've raised 2 boys here. I probably have explored every area possible in the DC Metro/Northern Virginia area, so I'm very familiar with what it's like to work here, what it's like to raise a family here, and what it's like to live here. And now that I'm a real estate agent, I get to take all that information and provide it to my clients to help them better navigate where to live, what's interesting to them, and how to make that all work together. Before I start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my insider tips about living, working, and finding your dream home in the DC metro area. Let's get started. We're gonna do a reverse countdown. So we're starting with item number 7, which is the cost of living. The average cost of living at the time of this video is $78,680 a year. The average cost of housing ranges from $1,518 to $3,500 a month. The median monthly mortgage amount is $2,569 a month. The Washington, D.C. area is a great place to live. It has a high standard of living and superb economic opportunities, but it can also be a struggle for many people. So it really depends on what you're looking for and what you do for work. Living in this area is expensive, from housing to groceries to dining out. Northern Virginia and Montgomery County, Maryland have some of the highest priced homes in the country. I've helped my clients navigate this by finding homes in lesser known communities, but still convenient neighborhoods. No matter what ranking you look at, DC is consistently ranked in the top 10 most expensive places to live. But since DC borders 2 other states, Maryland and Virginia, it gives you plenty of options to find a home that meets your needs. Topic number 6, which happens all year round, is the unpredictable weather. I'm not gonna lie here, summers can be brutal, and August is the absolute worst. But you just need to be prepared to stay indoors if you don't like the heat. Also, air quality can vary day to day, so you need to be friends with your weather app and check the air quality before you decide to go out and run that half marathon or do any other outdoor activities. The weather around this area is super unpredictable, so you need to be prepared for anything, and I truly do mean anything. That's why you carry jackets, you wear layers, because it can go from 70 degrees in the morning to 30 degrees at night. I once had a showing in Loudoun County during an unexpected snowstorm, and that was in March. So you really need to have a versatile wardrobe, maybe pack a couple extra things in the car just in case. Topic number 5, which I promised you wouldn't want to miss. It's a very high stress, fast-paced lifestyle here. We are very known for our ambitious, high-powered culture. People here are very driven, which can be inspiring, but also exhausting. Balancing work and life takes effort, and it's important to take that into consideration when you move here. For me personally, I chose to live in the Loudoun County area because Western Loudoun offers tons of nature, tons of walking trails, the opportunity to go to wineries, breweries, ride horses, go hiking, all the things. So it allowed me to be able to decompress after a hard day's work. And when you have young kids running around after a long, stressful day at a job, you need that time for yourself to just de-stress. Topic number 4, traffic is terrible. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Traffic around here is terrible, and it's getting worse and worse because we're growing so quickly, especially out in the Western Loudoun area. A lot of people are moving out here, so we're getting a lot more housing, which means a lot more traffic, and then the whole auto infrastructure is kind of a hot mess because we didn't plan for the rapid growth that we got. And put that aside, we've always had bad traffic going into DC and coming out of DC. If you have an event, that you're going to in downtown DC and you need to get there quickly, it's not going to happen. That's why the metros are around. And even the metros, even though you don't stop as much or get stuck as much, they still take a decent amount of time to get there. But it's a better alternative to driving and getting stuck in that traffic. I remember one time I had a meeting in Tyson's Corner, so I was coming from Loudoun County driving to Tyson's. The normal drive with no traffic issues probably would have taken me about 45 to 50 minutes. I sat in stopped traffic for over an hour on the Beltway trying to get to my meeting. Needless to say, I was very late. You just never know. There's no rhyme or reason to some of the traffic. But I will say, tying it back to the weather, which we talked about earlier, people get freaked out when it snows. People get freaked out when it sleets. People get freaked out when it rains. Combine the weather with the traffic and you've got a perfect storm of you're not going anywhere anytime soon. If you can work from home, you can alleviate a lot of that stress and maybe only have to commute in to wherever you need to go a couple days a week, which makes it so much better. When I was working, I was in 5 days a week, 9 to 5, doing the daycare, all the things. It was a very stressful time, but it was totally worth it. I enjoyed every minute of my job and obviously raising my children here. The last thing I'm going to say about the traffic here is that when I talk to clients about moving to the area, I understand their criteria, I understand their goals. The topic of traffic is always going to be front and center because I want to make sure that they understand what it takes to commute to where they need to go for work, if they have to drive into work, and then we can plan on where to look for homes based on that commute, because that is always going to be a key driver for people when they come to look to move to the area. And topic number 3, you probably would be surprised, maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but it's bugs, specifically the gnats. They're terrible, especially in June. They seem to come out in June. They don't want to leave, and they're the type of gnats that dive bomb your eyes. When you're in the grass, wearing a baseball hat helps or putting on sunglasses helps, but man, they are determined to just be in your face and really mess with you. So they only last for pretty much the month of June, and I think because it's a combo of humidity and heat that comes together and brings them up out of the grass. But if you can stay on the pavement or wear the hat and the sunglasses, it does help. But honestly, you really don't want to be in the grass during the month of June. It's terrible. The good news is we don't have a ton of mosquitoes here, which is nice. The big issue is those stupid gnats and then the locusts, which everybody has. Every 7 or 14 years we have the big locusts that come, make a lot of noise and fly around a lot. They don't seem to bother me, so if that would be something that would bother you, not certain we can control it, but it is something to keep in mind. Topic number 2 is politics, and I'm certain that is no surprise to you since we're in the political capital of the United States. There's going to be a lot to do with politics. Politics are a defining feature of life in the DC metro area. With the federal government at its core, this region experiences a constant buzz of political activity. This can be thrilling for those interested in public affairs, but it also means living with frequent protests, marches, and events that can disrupt daily life. And political events don't just happen in DC proper. They spill out to all areas of Northern Virginia, even my little tiny town of Leesburg. Road closures for motorcades or protests can turn a routine commute into a logistical puzzle. And during election seasons or when major legislation is on the line, tensions can run high, spilling into everyday conversations. I've had days where entire neighborhoods were practically inaccessible due to security lockdowns and large-scale rallies. If you're moving here, being up to date on current events is essential because they impact more than just the evening news. They affect where you can go and how long it's going to take for you to get there. Last but not least, item number 1 is that this area is very transient. People move in and out of here frequently because of government jobs, military transfers, and corporate relocations. While this can make building long-term community connections tough, the silver lining is it's one of the main reasons it keeps our housing market strong. High demand means properties tend to hold their value, making the area a solid choice for real estate investment. The other thing to note is that the farther north and or west that you go, the less transient it is. If you go where I live in Leesburg or Western Loudoun, you're going to get a lot more people staying for longer periods of time than you would in DC proper or the surrounding metros around the DC area. Thanks for sticking with me as I talked through the 7 worst things about living in the DC metro area. I hope I didn't scare you off. Just like anywhere you live, you need to know what the good things are and you need to know what the not so good things are. And for everything that I talked about today that isn't so great, I can provide a lot more things that are amazing. So keep that in mind as you look to consider this area your next home. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anybody else who may be considering a move to the DC metro area. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get notified every time we do a new video. We cover anything from insider tips, neighborhood spotlights, and generally what it's like to live in the DC metro area, so you don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.